This conference will now be recorded.
So, good evening, students. I welcome you all in today's maths and reasoning class. And this is your first class. Okay. So, as you all know, that in your CUET examination, you have two parts. In the first part, there are 25 marks. And in those 25 marks, you will be getting reasoning and numerical ability. So at max, you will get 10 to 12 questions from this part, numerical ability and reasoning. I hope my voice is clear. There is no disturbance in my voice. Just quickly let me know if there is any. Okay, thank you. So the numerical portion, which numerical ability portions, it consists of numerics, basically the maths from your 6 to 8 class of that standard maths you will be getting. Okay, and that is the part which all of you, I know that you have done, because all of you have taken, you have maths in your up to your class 10, and many of you have in 11, 12 also. So those topics are not unknown topics. The topics which you are going to get in numerical ability portions, these are known topics, and you have already done that in your school time. Now this reasoning portion, it is not very unusual and very difficult thing. The thing is that most of us has not done this in our school days or in any other exam. Only competitive examinations have this portion. So you can do it on your basic common sense and logical thinking also. But if you just know some tricks and formulas, then this sums will be very easy, and you can just do it in just a couple of seconds also. So we will be starting with reasoning, because these are the topics which are not known to many of you. So we'll be starting with this, and then we will also touch some portions of numerical abilities. Here, so today we'll be starting with syllogism. Okay, so in syllogs, this is the reasoning portion. Today we'll be doing with that. So what is syllogism? Just wait. What is it? Basically, you will be given some statements. Okay, you'll be having two or more statements. One statement can be there, two, or normally in your exam will be having two or three statements. Okay, and you will be having some conclusions, two or more conclusions will be there. So based on the statement, you have to decide which conclusions are or is valid. Okay, so this is basically we'll be doing in syllogism. So there are ways of solving it. One, so you can use your logical thinking and you can do it, but it will take a hell lot of time. Second is there is Venn diagram method. This is also a tricky method which will take a considerable amount of time. Another method that we'll be doing today is actually income expense method. Okay, this is super easy method and super fun method also. So using this method, you can just solve it in 9 to 10 seconds also. So we'll just look at it, what this method is. We'll be doing only one method. Since we don't have much time, so we will not discuss each and every method. We'll just discuss only one method, which is applicable to all types of numerical problems. Clear? So just try to understand what statement is. We all know what statement is from class, from our primary classes we have come with this term statement, and in your English uh, language, or in English grammar, you will get the elaborate definition of statement, but we'll not go in deep into that. We'll just understand statement will have two parts. In syllogism, you will have statement which will have two parts. One is subject, another is predicate. Okay, so we need to identify these two things, subject and predicate. Now just tell me one thing. All pens are red. Sorry, I will just tell me in this statement which one is subject and which one is predicate. Predicate, or you can tell it as object. Which one is subject and which one is predicate? Just answer quickly. Subject is that part of which you are talking about. So we are talking about pens. So pens are subject. Okay. And predicate or object is red. So first, our task is to identify subject and predicate. Now, based on this, the type of statement can be categorized on into four parts. We'll see one by one. Four type of statements are there. One is all statement. Another, so let's first look at this all statement. Then I'll come to the next statement. All statements are those type of statements like, let's give an example. All, as I given in the first previous example, all pens are red. This is all statement. So to solve the problems of syllogs, we have categorized statements into four types. One is all statement. So all statements means the statements which is starting with all. And just carefully notice that this statement is positive statement. Okay, this is a positive statement. Two parts are there. This is subject and this is predicate, right? So there are other alternatives of these statements, like each pen are red, every 100% pens are red. So all actually implies all these three. Okay, so all pens are red, each pens are red, every pens are red, 100% pens are red. All implies the same statement, and this all are positive statements. Clear? Now this value, we will associate the value with the subject and predicate. So if we get all type of statements, then we will associate 100 with the subject and 50 with the predicate. Is this clear or not? I hope this point is clear. If we get all type statement, then we will associate the value 100 with pens and 100 with subject and 50 with predicate. This you will do on your own, in your mind, like you don't have to give the values and it will become something else. Why we have to give the values? Because we will check income and expense. This we will come to later. Okay, when we will be seeing the conclusion, that time you will understand why we are giving values to this subject and object. I'll discuss that later on. Next are, now I'm just telling you about the type of statements that will get in syllogs problems. Okay, another type of statement you will get is no or none statements. Okay, like no pens are red. Here the statement was all pens are red. Here we say that no pens are red. See this, you can also get another alternative like none pens are red. Okay, so this is basically a negative statement. You can understand easily why it is negative statement, because no and none is present. Now in this type of negative statements, what we will do, we will associate the value 100 with subject and 100 with predicate. Clear? This you have to remember. Okay, so I'll just tell you the tricks how you can remember this, and the more you will solve the sums, this will be, you will have this numbers remembered very easily. Next type of statement is sum statement. Like if I say some pens are red. Now see, we are not talking any negative things here, but we are talking, so it is not a negative statement, it is a positive statement. See, this is a positive statement. Some pens are red. Now when we get some and the statement is positive, what we will do, we will associate 50 with subject and 50 with predicate. Clear? Next type of statement is some not. So if I say some pens are not red. Okay. So since not is present here, we can easily say that this is a negative type of statement, right? Now some is there and it is negative. So we will associate 50 with the subject and 100 with the predicate. Just quickly revise this thing. Just quickly revise this thing. When we have all and it is positive, so we will give the value 150. When we have no or none, that means it is negative, we will associate 100, 100. When there is some and it is positive, so we'll give 50, 50. When it is some not, that is negative statements, we will give 50, 100. The best way to remember is that when we have all and none, we will associate 100 with the subject. When we have some, we will associate 50 with the subject. Now, if the statement is positive, we will associate 50. And if the statement, see here it is positive, we have associated 50 with the predicate. And if the statement is negative, we have associated 100 with the predicate. The more you practice, this thing will be remembered. You will remember this thing. You don't have to just memorize. It will be memorized on its own. Clear? So these are the table which you need to remember. All positive means 150, no none means 100, 100, some means 50, 50, some not means 50, 100. Clear? Up to this, anyone has any doubt? Achha, one more thing you have to remember is that the statements that you will get in Silogs may not have meaning in the real life. Okay, so I can say that all buses are cars. So if you just take this statement in the real life context, it doesn't make any sense. But when it will be given in Silogs problem, you have to assume that this is true. Okay, you have to assume whatever statement is given in the problem, that is true. You just don't go and try to find logic behind it. So all buses are cars. It has no, logical, reasoning behind it. But still, you have to assume that this is true. Clear? Now we move to the conclusion. So statement is clear. We have learned what are the statements. It has one subject and predicate. And what are the 4 types of subjects that are present in Silogs. Next, we come to conclusion. Because in Silogs, what we do, we just take the statement as true, the truth, and then based on that statement, we check which conclusions are valid. Now, conclusions can be of 2 types. One is direct conclusions, another is indirect conclusion. So first we'll discuss about direct conclusion and then we will come to indirect conclusion. So try to understand the difference. In direct conclusion, you will have only one statement. As I told you, number of statements can be multiple. It can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 3. If number of statements given is only 1, then we can have direct conclusion. Clear? If the number of statements is more than 1, that is 2, 3, 4, you will not get in your exam. You will get up to 3. So for those type of statements, we will get indirect conclusion. Will not get direct conclusion. Okay. So in case of direct conclusions, we have only one statement. Now, what are the steps that we have to do? First is we have to check whether the statement is positive or negative. How can you check whether it is positive or negative? I have told you the type of statements already. All and some. These are positive statements. None and some not. These are negative statements. Okay. So first you will do check whether the statement is positive or negative. Next, this income expense rule you have to apply. What you will take? In the statement, the value of subject and predicate you are assigning. One of the student has just asked me in the class that we have to assign value. Why we are assigning value? Now I'll tell you why we will assign value. So we are assigning some value. The value of the statement will be taken as income, right? And the values of the conclusion will be taken as expense. Yeah. Now tell me, whatever your income is, you can spend up to that money. You cannot spend more than that money. So if you earn say 100 rupees, you can spend 50 rupees or you can spend 100 rupees. If you earn 50 rupees, you cannot spend 100 rupees, right? This is not possible. If your income is 50, your expenditure cannot be 100. If your income is 100, your expenditure can be 50 and 100, right? Is this point clear? Now this logic will be applying in income expense. So the values of the statements will be our income and the values of the conclusions will be our expense. Now we will check whether taking this as income, if this much of expense is possible or not. Clear? We will just make it clear when we will do an example. Just come to an example first. Here, what statement is given? All fans are bulbs. Okay. Only one statement is given. So, direct conclusions will come. Now, second things you need to check is that all given. So, this is a positive statement, right? Next, subjects and predicates. I have marked this in different colors because it will be easier for you to understand. Now, all fans are bulbs. So, fan is subject, this is bulb is predicate. Now, what are the value that we can assign when there is all? We will assign 100 and 50. Clear? Now come to the conclusion and check which conclusion is valid. See, if the statement is positive, conclusion will also be positive. If the statement is positive, conclusion will also be positive. It is logical, right? If you have positive statement, it cannot give you some negative conclusion. It cannot give you some statement as conclusion which is negative. So, statement positive, conclusion positive. Statement negative, conclusion negative. This you have to keep in mind. Now come to this. See, this statement, some fans are bulbs. This is also positive statement. This statement, all bulbs are fans. These are positive statement. In this statement, there is some bulbs are fans. So this is also positive. And there no bulbs are fans. So this is negative. So this conclusion is not possible. Seeing the statement, since statement is positive, we can tell that this conclusion is not possible because this is negative conclusion. Now we will check the remaining three. See, we have to assign value. Some, if there is some, what were the values that we will assign? 50, 50. With some, 50 will come first. All bulbs are fan. So all is there. So we'll assign 100, 50. Now here some bulbs are fans. So again with some we will assign 50, 50. Just comment this much is clear or not. Students, just don't worry about the values. You will just it will be, you will remember this because the more and more practice you will do, it will be automatically memorized. Okay. Now we will check income and expense. As I told you, these are our income and this will be our expense. Okay, now just check. Here, what is the income of bulb? 50. What is the expense of fan? Sorry. Income of fan is 100. Here, expense of fan is 50. So it is permissible. Income of bulb is 50. Expense of bulb is 50. So this is possible. So this is valid. Here, next, come to the next statement. Here, income of bulb is 50 and expense of bulb is 100. Is it possible? Your income is 50 and your expense is 100. It is not possible. So this statement is not valid. Here, next, come to the next statement. Here, this is the expense of bulb. This is 50 and income of bulb is 50. So it is possible. Expense of fan is 50 and income of fan is 100. So this is also possible. Income is 100, expense is 50, income is 50, expense is 50. So this is valid. So only 1 and 3 conclusions are valid conclusions. So you will get options like this. 1 follows, or only 1 and 2 follows, or only 1 and 3 follows, or 1, 2, 3 follows. In this way, you will get options. I have not given you the options. So based on the correct conclusion, you have to mark the options. Now just tell me, am I clear or not? Sonakshi said yes. Tushar said yes. Only 2 students. Okay. Parish said yes. Okay. Very good. Just do the next sum. Then do the next problem. See, one statement is given and just check. I'm just giving you 1 minute of time. Say, student, no phones are mobile. So I can see that this is a negative statement. Okay. No means value will be 100, 100. Okay. Now in the conclusion, only negative statements means only negative conclusions will be valid. Now see, the first one is positive conclusion. Some phones are mobile. So this is a positive conclusion. So it is not valid. Some phones are not mobile. So it is a negative conclusion. This may be valid. Next is all mobiles are phones. So this is again a positive statement, a conclusion. So this conclusion is not valid. The last one is no mobiles are phones. So this is also a negative conclusion. So this may be valid. So now we will check. Some not. So what are the values that we'll be assigning here? Some is always comes with 50, and since it is not, so it will be 100. Here no, so it will come 100 and 100. Now check. Now check. Phone is 100 here. Phone is 50 here. So is it possible? Income 100, expense 50? Yes, possible. Mobile, income 100, expense is also 100. So yes, it is possible. 2 is valid. Here. Next, in the last statement, mobile expense is 100, mobile income is 100. Okay. Phone expense is 100, phone income is also 100. So this will be true also. So statement 2 and 4 are valid statement. A conclusion. Here, this is your income and these are your expenses. So you have to check income and expense. First, you have to check whether the statement is positive or negative. Then you have to eliminate answers from conclusions. Positive statement will also always have positive conclusion. Negative statement will always have negative conclusion. This first you will check. Then you will check the income expense thing. So I hope this is clear. Next we'll come to, okay, let me just give you one more. The statement is some tables are chairs. Okay, this is our statement. Now, I have given you the conclusion that all chairs are table. Number one. Number two conclusion is some table are chair. Number three is some chair are table. Which one will be correct? Parish has said all the statements will be correct. Ankit Mandal has said 2 and 3. Sonakshi said 2 and 3. Others, what do you think? Tushar said 1 and 2. Soumya 2 and 3. Sonali 2 and 3. Okay, Sushmit 2 and 3. So mostly answering 2 and 3. 2 or 3 of you has answered 1 and 2. Let's see. Let's see. Some is there. Okay, Barsha said 2 and 3. Some means 50-50. Okay, this is positive statement 50-50. Now, here see all the statements are positive, conclusions are positive. So possibility that all the three might be valid, or there may be possibility that none of the threes are valid, or some of them are valid. Now let's check. All chairs are tables. Since all is here, so it will be 150. Some tables are chairs, so it will be some means 50, 50. Some chairs are table, meaning 50, 50. Clear? Now see, check. Here the expense of chair is 100. Here the income of chair is 50. Is it possible? Income is 50 and expense is 100. It is not possible. So this conclusion is not valid. Now in the next case, the expense of table is 50 and income of table is 50. So it is possible. Chair is 50, chair is 50. So it is possible. Here chair is 50, chair is 50, table is 50, table is 50. So it is possible. So 2 and 3 are the valid conclusion. Okay. Now we are moving on to indirect type of conclusion. So in indirect type of conclusions, we will definitely have 2 or more. So for your exam purpose, we'll do only 2 and 3 type statements. Okay. So here what is given, that in indirect statement, we have at least 2 statements. Okay. Like all A are B. Some, no, let's just take it as all. All B are C. These are the 2 statements. Okay. See, first of all, you have to see when we are giving any conclusion based on these 2 statements, we have to see that is there a common term between the 2 statements? Is there a common term? Yes, there are common terms. B here, B here. So between 1 and 2, there is one common term, that is B. Now we have to check the value of this common term. See what is the value here? All is given. So all means 150. Again, it is all. So it is 150. So you have to see if the common term has the value 100 once. It might have 100 twice, but it should be having 100 once, at least once. So is 100 is present once? Yes. In the common term is B and 100 is present here. So now the conclusion between these 2 is possible. Result between statement 1 and 2 is possible. If in place of all, it is given here, all A are B and some B R C. These are the two statements now. Now tell me, is the result possible between 1 and 2? Is any result possible between 1 and 2? What is the common term? First of all, we have to check. If in case of 2 or more statement, we have to check the common terms. The common term is B. Here the value of B is 50. All means 150. Some means 50, 50. So here also the common term has value 50. Here also the common term has value 50. So no, in nowhere we have got 100. So in this case, 1 and 2 will not give any result. Clear or not? So first, for two statements, you have to check for the common terms, and then you have to see what is the value in the common terms. If at least once the value is 100 in the common terms. So Naksu, what you are saying? I have not got your, you want me to repeat it again? Okay, okay. Just let me give the examples here. I'm writing two statements. All A are B and all B are C. Again, another statement I'm writing. All A are B and number 2, some B are C. Now I'm telling you, in case of indirect conclusion, you will have at least two statements or more than two statements. So this will give you indirect conclusion. Conclusion based on statement 1 and statement 2. Okay, we'll not get any direct conclusion over here. So first we have to check whether these two statements will give any conclusion or not. That's for checking that we have to check the common terms in both the statements. If both the statement does not have any common term, then we'll say with certainty that no conclusion is possible. But if there is common terms between the two statements, then we have to check the values of the common terms. If the common term at least has once the value as 100, then we can say that the statement 1 and 2 will give conclusion. If the value of the common term is not at all 100 in any of the statements, then we will say that this two statement will not give any conclusion. Here, so since that common term is B in both of the statements, we'll check for the value of B. This is all. All means 150. This is again all. All means 150. Right? Now the common term is B. So value of B is 50 here, but 100 here. So we have got 100 once. So our criteria is fulfilled. So we'll say that 1 and 2 will give result, will give conclusion. Which conclusion is valid, then that we will check later on. Okay. So now first our target is to say whether 1 and 2 statements will give any conclusion or not. So for that we are checking the values of the common terms. In the next statement, see, here the common term is B. Okay. Now value of the common terms we'll check. Here it is all, so it will be 150. Here it is sum. Sums comes with 50. 50, and since it is positive, 50, 50. Clear? So common terms has value 50 over here, value 50 over here. So no 100 is coming at least once. So we'll say here that 1 plus 2 statement will not give any conclusion. Now is it clear? Is it clear or not? Okay, Sonakshi, you have asked me, is it clear or not? You just reply. Okay. So first criteria is checked. The common term is required. A common term is required in both the statements. If the both the statements do not have any common term, then we will say that no conclusion is possible. Conclusion is only possible if both the statement has common terms. Next, we'll check the value of the common term. The value of the common term should be 100 in any of the two statements. This as I told you. Now for checking the conclusion, what we'll see, two statements are there. If the statement 1 is positive and statement 2 is positive, the conclusion will be positive. Okay. If statement 1 is negative and statement 2 is positive, then conclusion will be negative. If statement 1 is positive and statement 2 is negative, the statement conclusion will be negative. And if statement 1 is negative and 2 is negative, then no conclusion. So positive will get positive conclusion. Negative will get negative conclusion. Positive negative will give negative conclusion. And negative will give no conclusion. Here, you'll understand it better when we'll solve sums. Come to this. See, here two statements are given, so indirect conclusions will come. All A are B. See, in both the statements, there is a common term. What are this common term? B. So, we can go for the conclusion now. Now check the values of the common terms. Here, all A are B means 100, 50. None B or C means 100, 100. Okay. Now say value of the common term is 100 here. So 1 plus 2 will give conclusion. Now come to the conclusion. Okay, first another thing you have to check. This is positive statement. This is negative statement. So conclusion will be what? Conclusion will be positive plus negative, that is negative. Conclusion will be negative. Now in the conclusion, if there is any positive conclusion, you will just cross it. Okay, you will just write it out. So first is negative, so it may be a conclusion. Second one is also negative, so it may be a conclusion. Third one is some not, it is again negative, so conclusion might be there. Some are not, so this also is also a negative statement. Last one is all C are A, so this is a positive statement, so this cannot be the conclusion of this two, because conclusion has to be negative. It is positive, so from this we can just cross out this. Next, check all the other four conclusions. First, C. A and C. A and C is present, so 1 plus 2 will give this result. Okay. C and A and C, C and A. None means value will be 100, 100. None means value will be 100, 100. Some not means value will be 50, 100. With some will come 50 and for not it will be 100. Some C are not, so value will be 50, A will be 100. Now you see, income of A is 100. Here, expense of A is 100. Possible. Income of C is 100. Expense of C is also 100. So this is possible. This is valid. Next, income of C is 100. Here, expense is 100. And income of A is 100. Here, expense is 100. So it is also possible. Clear? Next, expense of A is 50. Income of A is 100. So income 100, expense 50, possible. Here C is 100 and it is 100. So this is also possible. Next, expense of C is 50 and income of C is 100. So it is possible. Income 100, expense 50, possible. And expense of A is 100 and income of A is also 100. So it is also possible. So all the four, 1, 2, 3 and 4 are valid conclusion. So what you will check in case of indirect conclusion? First of all, you have to check whether any conclusion is possible between the two statements or not. For that, You will check the common term, if value of the common term. If the value of the common term has 100 once, then we can check for the conclusion. Then we'll see the type of statement. So positive statement will give positive conclusion. Positive negative or negative positive statements will give negative conclusion. Then we'll come to the conclusion and we'll see which conclusions is valid by the income expense rule. Here, do this one. Statement 4. Question number 4. 6 statements are given. First, in case of 2 or more statements, look for common terms. Here is B, here is also B. So common term is present, so 1 plus 2 statements will be possible. Now check the values of the common terms. All A are B, all is there, so it will be 100, 50. All B are C, so it will be 100, 50. Now common term has value 101, so 1 plus 2 possible. Okay. Now this is a positive statement. This is also a positive statement. So the conclusion will be positive. Now, if there is any negative conclusion here, we will just strike out that. I think there is no negative conclusion. So all are positive. Now go check for income expense rule. Okay. So all 100, 50. All 100, 50. Sum means 50, 50. Sum 50, 50. Sum 50, 50. Sum 50, 50. Now see here, A and C are present. So A and C means 1 and 2 statement is required over here. Because A is present in 1 and C is present in 2. So both the statements is required to give the conclusion. Here also C and A, so 1 plus 2. Here also given A plus C, so 1 plus 2. Here also given C plus A, so 1 plus 2. So both the statements are required to give answer of this question. So here is A and B. So A and B are present in 1 only. So only 1 from 1 will directly get this conclusion. And B and A. So from 1 we will get this. So this is the direct conclusion. This will be the direct conclusion of statement number 1. Okay. So here we will not get indirect conclusion. Only in the first 4 places we have to check for indirect conclusion. Are you getting my point or not? Just reply once. Okay, Parish has said second is incorrect. Others, have you done it?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I have a
Yes.
doubt.
Yes.
Will
Yes.
we be asked that we have to select the indirect conclusion or direct?
How can you select the indirect or direct conclusion? Is that your question?
Ma'am, my question is that will we be asked in the question itself to select the direct or indirect conclusion?
It will not be asked in the question to select the direct or indirect, but without selecting the direct and indirect conclusions, you will not be able to find any conclusion, right or not? See, these two, you will only get one type of conclusions or two type of conclusions. That might come. I have given you 6 conclusions over here, but in your question, you will hardly get 2 or 3 conclusions. Okay. Why I have given more? So that you can practice more. In your
Ma'am,
examination,
so
you
if
will
we
get
are asked to select,
no,
so we
without.
have to select both direct and indirect?
See, without selecting directs. Why selecting direct and indirect is not the questions what is required, answer what is required. You have to solve it. So you have to first understand how you are going to solve it. See here, A and C. A and C is given. So since A and C require both the statements, so from here you can judge that this will be an indirect conclusion. This you have to judge first. Otherwise, you will not be able to give answer, right? So you will not be asked which one is direct conclusion, which will be indirect conclusion. You will be asked to get the conclusion. You are asked to mark the conclusion only. You will not be asked to find the direct conclusion and
So,
indirect
ma'am,
conclusion.
marking the conclusion, what does it mean? That will be that we can select direct as well as indirect, right?
See, in your exam, you will get option like this. Only one is valid. B, both 1, 2 are valid. C, none of them are valid. 4, all of them are valid. Okay, you have to mark which one is correct. So for that, you need to pick the valid conclusions, right? This will be asked in the question. Which one is correct? So for that, you have to pick the correct conclusion and then accordingly, you have to mark the options. Am I clear?
Ma'am, so valid conclusion can be direct as well as indirect, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
If
ma'am.
a conclusion is coming from one statement only, then it is a direct conclusion. If the conclusion is coming from two statements, then it will be an indirect conclusion. Is it
No,
clear?
no, no, ma'am. I'm not asking about identifying. I'm just asking that in the options we can consider the direct conclusion as also as valid, right?
Yes, yes. Whichever conclusion is valid, you have to mark that only.
Okay,
It
ma'am.
can be
Thank you.
direct, it can be indirect. Okay, whatever conclusions are valid, based on the options, you have to pick the correct option. If, see, in
Okay,
this
ma'am.
question, uh, see, when we'll be marking this, accordingly, we'll see the options, which options can be correct. So, what I'm trying to say is that here, in this conclusion, two statements are involved. A is present in the first statement, C is present in the second statement. So here two statements are involved. Since two statements are involved, so this we can identify that this will be an indirect conclusion. It cannot be a direct conclusion because for direct conclusion only one statement is required. See, in the fifth statement, A and B are there. So A and B are present in the first statement only. So for this conclusion, only one statement is required. So this can be a direct conclusion of statement 1. Here. Now, when you mark which one is valid, which one is not valid, then accordingly you will get the options and you have to pick the correct options. Options I have not included. You just go through your previous papers. You will see what type of questions come. Okay. I'll try to give you in the WhatsApp group today after the class, I'll give you one question. There you can understand what type of questions comes. These are the question. Statement and conclusion are the question. Now options will be given to you and you have to pick the correct options based on what conclusion you have got correct. Here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, okay. So now just check which one is correct. Okay. Here all A are C. So A is 100. Here A is 100. C is 50. C is 50. So this is correct. Next, C is 100 and A is 50. So C is 50. Income is 50. Expense cannot be 100. So it will not be a correct statement. Okay. Next is sum A are C. So all A is 100. So in case A is 50 here, and so this is the correct. C is 50, C is 50. Sum C are A. Now C is 50. Expense is 50. Income is 50. 50, 100. So this is also correct. Next is sum A are B. So this is a direct statement. See, in the direct conclusion, A is 100, expense is 50. B income is 50, expense is 50. So this is also correct. Last one is also direct conclusion. From here alone, we can get the answer. Expense is 100. Sorry. Income is 50, expense is 50. Income is 100, expense is 50. It is possible. So this is also valid. Now, one thing I want to add here, that in the options you may get only 2 is incorrect. All the statements are, all the conclusions are correct. All 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 are correct. Okay, or none of them are correct. This type of statements you will get in the options. So based on the conclusions that you have got valid, you have to mark the options. Now am I clear? I hope. one statement, one thing that I want to include here is why we have to identify direct and indirect. See, if I check here, I know that this is a direct conclusion, this is a direct conclusion. So why I'm doing this? Because the value of B, this is expense. Now, here also B has one income, here also B has one income, right? Now, for with which value of B I will be comparing it. So if it is an indirect statement, then we need two statements. But if it is a direct statement, then, indirect statement has one common term. Now, in this case, value of B is 50. That means this is our expense. Now, this is also income. This is also income. So we will have trouble in comparing. So for that reason, we have to identify whether it's a direct state conclusion or not. Since it is a direct conclusion, we'll compare it with this. We'll not compare with this. Clear? Clear or not? The question that has been asked is why it is so important, because I want to thank her for asking this question, because why direct and indirect is required. Because see, I can also join this two statement and say this B and A is connected through this. So I can do this, but this is not required because B and A are directly related from the statement. So we can just compare with it. This is the direct result of 1. This is the direct result of 1. So we don't need two statement over here. Now come to the next statement. Here we have two. Okay. Here we have two statements. Just try once. Find the if there is any common term between these two or not. I can see this is humble people here and humble people here. So this is the common term. Now we'll check the value of the common term. Since all, that means 100. 50. Since all, this means 100, 50. Okay. So common term has 100. That means 1 plus 2 will give result. Now check which conclusion is right. First of all, both the statements are positive. So yes, conclusion will be positive. Now here both the conclusions are positive. So now we check the conclusion. Sonakshi is saying only one is valid. Let's check others. So this is positive, this is also positive. No problem in that. Conclusions will be positive. So both are positive. Now let's check which conclusion is possible or whether both of them are possible or not. Here all, that means it is 100, this is 50. Here all, so this is 100, this is 50. Now see, executive and rich. Executive is present here, rich is present here. So this is the conclusion between statement 1 and 2. And humble people is present here, executive is present here. So humble people and executive are present in the first statement only. So this is a direct conclusion of statement number 1. Here, we'll not compare this two because humble people and executive is just compare this two, then we'll land up in trouble. This is a direct conclusion. This is a direct conclusion of 1. This is an indirect conclusion because it needs two statements here. Now check the income expense. Executive's expense is 100, executive's income is 100, rich is 50 and rich is 50. So this is possible. Now here humble people's expense is 100. Humble people's income is 50. So income is 50. Expense is 100. Not possible. Clear? So those who are answering both are correct. You have to identify which one is a direct conclusion and which one is indirect conclusion. Those who are answering that both are correct, they are taking this also as the indirect conclusion. They are comparing 2 and 1. That's why you are giving. You are here because here humble people is 100. So you are saying is 100 is possible. That's why you are answering. Now you have understood what is the difference. So you have to first identify which one will be indirect conclusion and which one will be direct conclusion. Then you have to answer. So here, what kind of options you may have? You can say only one is valid, only one follows. Number B, only two follows. Number C, both follows. Number D, none of them follows. So what will be your correct option? A will be your correct option. Here, here, just do this one. All leaders are politicians. All politicians are eloquent. Okay. So two statements are involved. See the common term. Common term is politician. So now just give the value 150. All means 150. All means 150. So common term has a value 100. So 1 plus 2 is possible. Now both are positive statement. So conclusion will be positive. Okay. Tusha is saying 1 is correct. 1 is correct. See, first one is positive. Second one is positive. All are saying 1 is correct. Okay. Let's check. Let's check. 1 is positive. Okay. So see, leaders and eloquent. Leaders is present here. Eloquent is present. So this is indirect conclusion of 1 and 2. Politician is present here. Leaders is present here. So see, politician and leaders. So this is the direct conclusion of 1 only. Okay. So now check all 150. All means 50. Sorry. This is 100. This is 50. Now, leaders expense 100. Leaders income 100. Possible. Eloquent expense 50. Income 50. So 1 is correct. In the next case, politician expense 100. Politician income 50. Not possible. So only 1 is correct. Okay. So now just quickly we'll move on to our problems with 3 statements. Okay. Just try to understand this. Since we will not have enough time to do many sums, I'll give you homework and you will try to do it. If you have any kind of doubts, you'll just put it on the WhatsApp group or on the chat box, anywhere. I'll try to solve those things. Okay. So just try to understand very carefully, attentively listen what I'm saying, and then try to implement those in the sums. In 3 statements, we will see, this is 1 and 2. See, there is a common term. This is 1, 2 and 3. There is a common term. So if 1 and 2 has common term, 2 and 3 has common term, then we can associate 1 and 3. Okay. So this is 1 plus 2 plus 3 will give result. So see, all cars are buses, all buses are trucks. We have this, we can associate cars with trucks by this 2 statement. We have done that already. All buses are trucks and all trucks are machines. So since this 2 statement has common term trucks, so we can associate buses with machine also. But now can we associate cars with machine? We'll see that. Can we associate cars with machine? This is what we will check now. No, Sonakshi, you don't say no, because I have not told you or just I have started. I have not told you what is the way we'll check the answer, right? I will just going to discuss what is the way we'll check the answers now. Okay. So first of all, you have to see if 1 plus 2 is possible or not. When 1 plus 2 will be possible? If the common term has, value 100 once, and if the other conditions, income expense ratios are satisfied, then 1 and 2 holds. Then again we'll check this. We'll check 2 statements twice. We'll check whether these 2 statements follows or not. If it gives conclusion or not. And then again we'll check whether 2 and 3 gives conclusions or not. So if 1 and 2 give conclusion, 2 and 3 also give conclusion, then we can say that 1 and 3 will also give conclusion based on certain criteria. Based on certain criteria that we'll discuss now. Now, to get the answers, we will follow a rule that is known as chain rule. The chain rule, you know, 1 is connected to 2, 2 is connected to 3, then 1 is also will also be connected to 3 if certain conditions are met. This we will check. So when this chain rule is applied, when there is no common terms between 1 and 3. See, in the statement number 1 and statement number 3, there is no common term. But 1 and 2, there is one statement in between. 1 and 2 has common term, 2 and 3 has common term, but 1 and 3 has no common term. Still, 1 and 3 will give conclusions. Still, 1 and 3 can give conclusion. That we will discuss now. First of all, you have to check whether 1 and 2 is possible or not. 2 and 3 is possible or not. Say if any of them are not possible, 1 plus 2 possible, 2 plus 3 not possible, then 1 plus 3 is not possible. If 1 plus 2 is not possible and 2 plus 3 is possible, then 1 plus 3 is also not possible. So in case of 1 plus 3 to be possible, both 1 and 2 and 3 has to be possible. Now we will apply this rule. If in any of the three statements, say statement 1, statement 2, statement 3, if any of the three statements is negative, if all the statements are positive, all the statements are positive, the conclusion will be positive. If any of these three statements is negative, say maybe this is negative, or this is negative, or this is negative, any of them are negative, only one of them are negative, then we will get negative conclusion. So what I said, if all the three statements are positive, we'll get positive conclusion. If any of them are negative, either statement 1 is negative, or statement 2 is negative, or statement 3 is negative, then we will get negative conclusion. If 2 of them are negative or 3 of them are negative, then we'll get no conclusion. Easy to remember. If only 2 of them are negative and 1 is positive, no conclusion. If 3 of them are negative, no conclusion. Only 3 are positive and any one of is negative, then only we will have conclusion. Clear? This is only the chain rule. So now we'll do one sum and the remaining you will do on your own. So here 3 statements are given. Cars, buses. The example that we have to, that is given here. Cars, buses, trucks, machine. Now this 2 has common term, this 2 has common term. Now we'll check whether 1 and 2 is possible or not. Here the value will be 100, 50, 100, 50, 100, 50. So in 1 and 2, the common term has value 100. So it is possible. In 2 and 3, the common term is truck and truck has value 100. So this is also possible. So conclusion between 1 and 3 will be possible. That we will check. Okay, the first criteria is satisfied. Second criteria, this is positive, this is positive, this is positive. So we'll get a conclusion that will be positive in nature. Second criteria is fulfilled. Now we will check income and expense. Come here. First statement, all cars are trucks. Okay, so first check cars and trucks. Where is car present? Car is present in statement number 1 and truck is present in statement number 2. So this is an indirect conclusion of 1 and 2. Okay. Now trucks and cars. So this is again indirect conclusion of 1 and 2. Now buses and machines. Buses is present in statement number 2. Machine is present in statement number 3. So this is an indirect conclusion of 2 and 3. Next, machines and bus. This is also an indirect conclusion of 2 and 3. So indirect conclusion of 2 statements, I will not do this. You will do this at your home because I have already discussed this. I will only do indirect conclusion of 3 statements. Now check here also buses and machines. Buses and machines means 2 plus 3. So I will not do this. You will do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is your homework. Now last one is 6. all cars are machines. So cars is present in 1, machine is present in 3. So this is 1 plus 2 plus 3. Why 1 plus 2 plus 3? Because cars or machines are joined by this statement. So this is 1 plus 2 plus 3. Again here, cars are machines, 1 plus 2 plus 3. Some machines are cars, so it is also 1 plus 2 plus 3. Now I will do 6, 7 and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4 are your homework. Okay. Now here I'll do the income excess. So this is also positive. Conclusion is positive. This may be the conclusion. This is also positive. This is also positive. So all three may be the conclusion. Now check the income expense. All means 100, 50. Some means 50, 50. Some means 50, 50. Yeah. Now here cars expense is 100. Cars income is 100. Possible. Machines expense is 50. Machines income is 50. So it is possible. Clear? In the next case, cars expense is 50. Cars income is 50. Possible. Machines expense is 50. Machines income is 50. It is also possible. Next, machines expense is 50. Machines income is 50. So income expense same. Cars income expense is 50. Cars income is 100. So this is also possible. So 6, 7, 8 are valid. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 you will check because these are the indirect statements of two, indirect conclusion of two statements. So this you will do on your own. This is how we find the conclusion for 3 statements using chain rule. Clear? Just try the last one. Just try the last one. See, dogs, cats, rats. So this is common. Rats. This is common. So there are common statements. So dog and monkey is possible. Let's see. 100, 50. 100, 50. 100, 50. Okay. So common terms has 100. Again, all are positive. So conclusion is possible. Now check which one are the indirect conclusion of 3. 2 you'll do on your own. Dog and rat. Dog and rat, this is 1 plus 2. Dog and rat, 1 plus 2. Cat and monkey. Where is it? Cat and monkey. So this is 2 plus 3. Cat and monkey, 2 plus 3. Dog and monkey. Dog and monkey. So this is 1 plus 2 plus 3. Monkey and dog. So 1 plus 2 plus 3. Dog and monkey and dog. 1 and 2 are correct. Tushar is saying. I'll not check that now in this class. I'll give you the answers in the WhatsApp group. I'll just check the answers for 3 statements. Okay. Because all the 5, 6, 7, 8 are the conclusion of 3 statements. So we'll check this only. And 1, 2, 3, 4 are your homework. So first of all, see, all the statements are positive. So the conclusion will be what? Positive, right? The first statement conclusion number 5, none. So this is a negative statement. So positive conclusion is possible. So this will not possible. Again, this is none. Eliminated. Okay. Now this is some not. Eliminated. Again, some monkey are not dog. So eliminated. So though it is possible to have conclusion, but in the options we'll get no valid conclusions between 1, 2 and 3. Why not? Because here all are positive, so their conclusion has to be positive, and here no conclusion given which is positive. Here, so if only here I give all rats are not, if I give here not, then it would have become negative. Then what will be the answer? All if I given some rats are not. Okay, if I give some here, then it will be 50. So 2 and 3 will not possible. In that case also no conclusion will come. If, see, all dogs are cats. So Nakshi is saying 1 and 2 are valid. Let me just check whether 1 and 2 are valid or not. All dogs are rat, positive. Some dogs are rat, positive. 100, 50. Some is 50, 50. So dog, this is 1 plus 2. So dog is 100, 100. Rat is 50, 50. Huh? Yes, 1 is possible. Some dog is 50. Yes, possible. Yes, 1 and 2 are valid. Check the rest of the thing. 5, 6, 7, 8 are the indirect conclusion of 1, 2, and 3 statements. Using chain rule, we see that these are not valid. Why not valid? Because all of these are negative statements. 3 and 4 are negative. No cat or monkey, some cat and not. Yes, these are negative. So 2 and 3, see 2 and 3 are positive. And these conclusions, which are the indirect conclusion of 2 and 3, these are negative. So it is also not possible. So only 1 and 2 are valid. Here. Now what I was trying to show you, let me just do it. If I just change the statement a bit and I give you this, that statement number 1 is all dogs are cats. Okay. Number 2, all cats are rats. Number 3, some rats are not monkey. Now, what will be the answer? Tell me. Whether the chain rules will be applicable here. Whether the chain rule will be applicable here. See, the common term is cat and rat. Okay, so here it is 100, this is 50. 100, 50. Sum means 50, 100. Now see, the common term is 50 between 2 and 3. And the common term is rat between 2 and 3. And the value is 50. Nowhere we are getting 100. So between 2 and 3, no result is possible. That is why we will not get any result of 1 plus 2 plus 3. Here, between 1 and 2 will get result, but between 2 and 3 will not get any result. So all those statements which have the indirect conclusion of 2 and 3 also will not be possible in that case. Okay, so I hope you have understood whatever I have tried to teach you in this today's class. And this will be clear once you go through practice problems. I'll try to provide you with practice problem, but you will get lots of material. I'll tell you, just try to solve previous year questions. Okay. Yes, Sonakshi, are you trying to say
Ma'am,
anything?
the second question you had written just now. So,
Yes.
ma'am, can we have a direct conclusion from first statement?
Direct conclusion from a statement is only possible if this include only
Ma'am,
one
from
statement.
first one, that is all dogs are cats.
Yeah.
So,
All
can we
dogs
have
are
a direct
cats.
conclusion?
If the conclusion have only dogs and cats in it, then we can have a direct conclusion.
Ma'am, so
If,
if the question is like all cats are dogs, so that
yeah,
would be a valid statement, right?
all cats are dogs will not be a valid statement.
But
Why?
ma'am, it will also be not because 50 and 100. Yes.
Yes, yes. If I tell here
Yes, ma'am.
all cats are dogs, this is a direct conclusion. But this is not a valid conclusion. Why? Because all cats means it will be 100. But here cat is 50. Expense is 100. Income is 50. So it is not, it is a direct conclusion. But it is not
So
a
it
valid
can be like
conclusion.
some cats are dogs, right?
Yeah, some cats are dogs. Yes, that will be valid then. That will be
Yes,
valid.
ma'am. So,
Okay.
ma'am, that can be considered. Now, it will not be like that there is no valid statement for these three statements.
See, one thing I want to make you clear is that conclusions will be there, statements will be given, conclusions will be there. So based on the terms involved in the conclusion, you have to decide whether it is a direct conclusion or an indirect conclusion. Okay. Now, after you mark all the valid conclusions, right, you will be given with options. I have not given options here. I have just only incorporated the questions and asked you to mark the valid conclusion. But in your exam, you will not get like this. You will get statement, conclusion, and after that you will have options. In options, there will be mentioned this and these are valid, this and this are not valid, or this all of these are valid, or none of these are valid. So based on the valid conclusion that you have got, you have to mark the correct option. Is it clear now?
Ma'am, like the statements which you have given, in this case, 2 and 3 didn't had any conclusion, right?
3 and
So
4
if
has
there
no
is
conclusion. Yes, 2 and
yes,
3
ma'am.
has no conclusion.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, if there's a situation in which like 1 and 2 they don't have any conclusion, so
Hmm.
can 2 and 3 be can 2 and 3 have conclusion?
That depends on the question. That
No,
would
no,
depend
no.
on
I
the
mean
question.
to say that we can relate, like if 1 and 2 don't have a conclusion,
Hmm.
as in there is no 100 between the common one.
Hmm.
But in case of 2 and 3, they have this like 100 as one common.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, ma'am, can we accept that 2 and 3 they have conclusion while 1 and 2 don't have conclusion?
Yes, why not? Why not? See, why when I have given you so many questions, let me just uh, erase it a bit because it has got messy. See, all the 3 statements are given to you. Okay. Now, it is not mentioned, whatever is given in the question, you have to go by that. You cannot assume that this may happen, this may not happen. You have to take this as the truth. This is your truth. Okay. Based on this truth, you have to derive which are valid. If it is given that 1 and 2, some statement is given in such a way that between 1 and 2, no conclusion is possible. Then you have to go by that. If in the statements you give no conclusions related to 1 and 2, then it's okay, no problem. And if you give any relation between 1 and 2, and since 1 and 2 is not possible according to your logic, so you have to strike that out. Clear? So these are only truth you will have in the question. Based on this truth, you have to derive which are correct and which are not. Now, what I'm trying to say is that if between 1 and 2, if it is not possible, or between 2 and 3, it is not possible, then 1 and 3 will not possible. This I'm trying to say. If 1 and 3 is something where there is no common term, it is only associated by the second statement. Now, if this second statement does not hold true for any of the cases, then 1 and 3 is not possible. That you have to keep in mind. Other than that, whatever conclusions will be there based on whatever rules you have learned, you just apply that and see which conclusion is right, and you go accordingly. Clear?
And if two statements are negative, so there still there will be no conclusion, right?
No, 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 no. Two statements are negative, no conclusion in case of, yes, two statements are negative. In case of indirect conclusion, there will be no conclusion. Only positive, 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 negative, negative, positive. Okay. Negative, negative, there will be no conclusion. And in case of three statements, positive, 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 negative, positive, negative, positive, positive, and positive, positive, negative. So only one will be
So there
negative.
can be only
If
one negative conclusion out of
yes,
either two or three, whatever is given in the question.
only one negative statement. These are
Yes,
statements.
ma'am.
Conclusion is this. Only one
Okay,
negative
ma'am.
statement is permissible. If one negative statement is there and other two are positive, then you can go for the conclusion. But if two negative statements are there, then we'll say that there is no conclusion.
And the conclusion will be negative, right?
Yeah, conclusion will be negative.
Both direct
Only
and indirect.
in case of three statement, there will be no direct conclusion. I have told you this. Direct statements, direct conclusion comes from only one statement. So when we are talking about three, how can there be direct conclusion? There will be always indirect conclusion, right? So don't bother about direct and indirect. It's just go through the class once more. Just try to solve all the sums on your own. And then if you get any doubt, just post it in the WhatsApp group, or you'll get my WhatsApp number in the group. Just ask me questions directly. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, let's just end this class today. Okay, thank you, students.